I am speaking to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico, where my wife, Mary Ellen, has been for more than 6 months caring for her dying father, where he is now nearly at the end of his battle with life. A clear reminder that we are not in paradise. Nothing in this planet is permanent, and our very breath is borrowed. This year has come and gone, and with it came political unrest, financial instability, spiritual division, and disaster upon natural disaster. Central California Conference was not exempt. We experienced the drowning of a young man from Fresno Academy by the name of Trayvon Davis, which shocked our community. The Oildale fires destroyed one of our sanctuaries. Campo Bona was for a time threatened with fire as well. Our conference neighbor to the north lost Redwood Adventist Academy. The Deadwater fire in their territory destroyed 63 homes and 68 structures while burning 81,826 acres. The Santa Rosa, California fires damaged and destroyed 7,500 structures. And nationally, there were the very destructive hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Mary, which led to extreme flooding. There was the Las Vegas tragedy where a gunman opened fire on a crowd of concert goers, leaving 58 people dead and 546 injured. There was the Lower Manhattan attack, where a pickup aimed at pedestrians near the World Trade Center in New York killed 8 people and injured 11 others. The list goes on and on. Scripture tells us that Jesus too was born into times such as ours. Isaiah writes, "The light that was coming into the world came to a people shrouded in darkness."
Darkness has spilled into total darkness. Nation has controlled nation. Hate has incurred more hate. In place of love, there's been bigotry. In place of beauty, there's been decay. In place of peace, there's been turmoil. And it was the same in Bethlehem of old. Rome occupied the land. Herod was on the throne. The backdrop of politics and taxes was not much better than today. It was heavy taxes which brought Jesus' own parents to the city of David so long ago.
Additionally, 4 political groups in Israel sought to control the people: the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Essenes, and the Zealots. A band of brothers who sought violent means to overthrow Roman rule. These 4 competing factions in Judaism led to constant friction and were only increased by the oppressive rule of Rome. Riots were also common for this time. Tension was unceasing. Much like today, politics permeated the landscape in Jesus' time.
Furthermore, the people of God were under the oppressive rule of Rome. Luke 2 verse 1 gives the account of the census taken up by Caesar Augustus. This census was a blatant reminder that the people of Israel were owned by another government. Daily, soldiers walked the streets of Jerusalem, and Roman guards policed the city of David. Further, the hostile forces of King Herod tried to kill Jesus outright. These, like today, were the political conditions of the world when Jesus was born.
The trip that Mary and Joseph were required to take was a considerable imposition. Living in Nazareth, Mary and Joseph would have had to travel more than 100 miles north to Bethlehem. Yet forced by law, there was no way around this. They had to take the arduous trip, walking over hills and through streams to get to their destination.
Not only were the conditions and grim realities leading up to Christ's birth dark, so too was his actual birth. The poverty of Mary and Joseph afforded them no luxuries. Luke 2:7 records that there was no place for them in the inn. This is likely because it was filled with travelers coming to Bethlehem for the census. But it's also likely Joseph, a carpenter by trade, didn't have the money for a room. Ill-equipped to face the rigors of the outdoors, Mary and Joseph found themselves struggling to settle in a stable on the night of their son's birth. In place of full tables and happy hearts, food was likely scarce and animals had taken over the nativity scene.
Just before Christ's birth, a band of angels assembled upon small rolling pastures, and the Gloria Excelsior Deo Christmas truce was born, a spiritual trove, not of Hollywood making or Disney magic, but heaven and earth reconciled if only for a time. As the celestial choir formed, the very angels sang carols across the gulf of desperation between God and man, the area between two battling armies, light versus darkness, glory versus loneliness, life versus death, formed a brigade of splendor to fields of lowly shepherds.
The first Advent, also known as the first Christmas Eve, marked heaven's command to silence pain forever, to end suffering, to abolish slavery, to eradicate disease, to cease from warfare, to abandon betrayal, and to end every earthly ill. This silent night lifted humanity from the trenches of turmoil unto heights which only the peace and comfort of Christ can bring. It brought angels and man side by side, cherub wings to shepherd's rod, crowns to callous hands, celestial beauty to rugged, worn forms. For a moment, in earth's sinful history, the divine harmonized with humanity, exchanging heaven's pageantry, signaling for one moment a truly silent, silent night. And for a brief time, one song filled up that sky.
And in that truth, I like to think that the Father answered, "My dear angels, I'm waging war on sin down there. Do you know how putrefying sin is? Sin has separated our troops. I've intensified my plan to save them, but it's not safe for angels down there. The people make slaves of each other. They harm their children, hurt their neighbors, and betray their families. They're evil day and night." And then I imagine the angels persisting, "But you're already waging Operation War on Sin. You've just sent him to be born. Please, it's just one song, a temporary truce." And for that moment, both sang, and heaven united with earth. Shepherds wiped the angelic brightness from their eyes, and the angels returned to heaven. And the shepherds went about trying to convince their respective villages that they had been privy to an angel choir. It was truly a silent night and a holy night.
Over 2,000 years ago, a heavenly hush fell over the world. This is the same heavenly peace hand-delivered to our fallen planet today. The same peace that was brought that first silent night is available to you and me today. Claim it now, this Christmas season, and in the upcoming year. Like Mary, claim these, hold these, and ponder them in your heart today. Let God's gift, that holy silent night, bring you eternal heavenly peace in your heart this Christmas and in this coming new year. On behalf of the Central California Conference Administration, we wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a truly silent night. Una noche de paz.
Stille natt, helige natt.
Polele felemu.
Stille now, hela gana.
Kamosh Rat or Pak Rat.
Stille natt, helige natt.
Notte Celestial, Notte Santa.
Noapte preas ventita.
Silent night, holy night.